Last minute shakeup at 5:30 a.m., laundry situation not good. And when your focus is on helping your clients, it's easy to forget about yourself. But NASM knows trainers.
Morning ride is okay with
And staying in front of the day isn't always
Nice
as simple
ride.
as 1,
What's
2,
up?
3. So when the unexpected has you pressing pause,
What's the latest on creatine?
I'm going to get back to you on that.
let NASM1 help you press play. Visit NASM.org to sign up for a membership today.
You're listening to the NASM CPT Podcast with Rick Richey, winner of the Share Care Emmy Award for Social Storytelling and the official podcast of the National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to the NASM CPT Podcast. My name is Rick Richey, and today I want to follow up with a conversation that I was having just the other day with Mark Mastrov. And I'm going to say that's so cool, like just hanging out with Mark Mastrov, talking to him. So if you missed last episode, then go back and check it out. It's an opportunity where I got a chance to chat with Mark, and he is a mogul within the fitness industry, within, dozens of brands. I'd say at this point, probably thousands of gyms that are open and have been open throughout the course of his 30-year career at this point. And so he's done a lot, and it was great talking to him. And so what I figured I'd do now is I'm going to scale that down, because that was aspirational. That was something that was huge, to listen to somebody who didn't have any money to get into the business, borrowed $15,000, not from his parents, but was able to get his grandmother to help him with the money so he could invest and have a piece of a gym. And I think that only got him, I think he said 10% equity in that gym, but he got a piece, right? So he's got a piece of the puzzle. I think about that, and I'm like, well, $150,000 would be 100%. If that's how much it costs to open a gym for him 30 years ago, I applaud you. That's pretty good. Now, I'm going to take that and I'm going to reduce it down. I'm going to say, look, you want to open your facility, your first location. You've got to start to balance this out, right? I think it's good that you need to identify whether or not you've got a grandma with $15,000 that can help you out. Parents have money. For my first gym, I had a couple of ducats set aside, but I started doing some numbers. In fact, I'll tell you exactly how much I had set aside, because I knew I wanted to do something like this. So I saved money, and I did not invest in retirement, unfortunately, but it did allow me to save up to spend money to open a business, and I had put aside $125,000. So that's a lot of coin to put aside. And I understand that. And I feel like I did good work, and I worked hard, and I worked a lot. So for those of you who love personal training, so you can work 20 hours a week, that's cool. That's cool. You'll get 20 hours worth of work a week. You might be able to keep your full-time status with some companies, but you're not going to save up a lot of money to be able to open it. And then you might have some clients that'll be like, hey, I want a piece of the puzzle. I'll be the money behind it. Let me put money into it. And that's how a lot of people get started, because owning a gym is cool. And the people who have the money don't want to operate the gym. They're going to put that money into you, and maybe they'll help you out. But I didn't have enough money. And I started looking at the $125,000 I had and realized that that's not going to get me very far. Now, I want you to stay with me. Understand where I am. I am in New York City. So this is what it looks like for me. First of all, let's talk about two categories of expenses we need to have a conversation about. Categories of expenses are capital expenses and operational expenses. So you have CapEx and OpEx. Now, operational expenses need to be thought about, because those are how much it's going to cost you, let's say monthly, right? So we'll break it down monthly, and then also it allows me to understand daily how many sessions need to get done, how much money do I need to make daily as a break even, and then I can find out what my potential profit will be if this gets maintained for the entire month. And so those monthly services, those operational expenses are going to be things like staff. If you got staff, you got to pay your staff. You've got electricity. You've got laundry. Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. I knew laundry existed. I did not know how much it cost to do it. Holy moly. So laundry, Wi-Fi. I'm thinking about this one in particular right now, which is repairs. So every year around this time, so the spring has sprung at the time of this recording, and every year before it gets hot, I have the HVAC company come in and just do a cleaning. They power wash the HVAC units, and it's expensive, but it gets done, and you amortize that over months. And you're like, all right, $100 a month, just make sure that my AC stays as functional as possible for as long as possible. But I've been in business for a while, and that very first unit I put in, oh, there's some hitch in the giddy up right now, and it's the quote that was given me, and this might have something to do with tariffs, but we're looking at $30,000 to replace that unit. So I told him I appreciate it. I'm gonna wait till this old girl passes away before I put in a new one, and that's not great either, because then you have a week without AC when it's really hot, or a week without heat when it's really cold. And so I just was ill prepared for the price tag to be that much. Now, with that being said, if you don't have HVAC in your unit, you're using window units and the space that you're going to rent, you may have to put that in. Now, when I had it installed 10, 11 years ago, it cost $20,000, and that included the ductwork that went in. So I told him, all right, let's scale back a little bit. We might find a cheaper version to put in instead of trying to sell me some fancy version. But that's a lot of money. And the operational expenses is getting it fixed, getting it repaired. And that goes along with, all right, well, repairing the floor. Sometimes the flooring needs repaired. Sometimes the tools themselves need repair. Sometimes there's a little nick in the band. You got to throw that band out. It cannot snap on people. You throw it in the garbage and order a new band, get those bands in there. So operational is just these ongoing expenses that you got to put money aside. Now, the capital expenditure, okay, now we're talking. And this is where I looked at it and I was like, the $125,000 that I have set aside is not going to be enough for me to open a gym. And that makes me very sad, because that is so much money that I had set aside. And so what I did is, between all the things that I look at, so I got to pay attorneys to review a lease. As soon as they review a lease, let's say I'll go back, I have $10,000 a month rent, but I also need 3 months security upfront and first month's rent. So 3 months security, that's $30,000 per first month's rent. That's $40,000. I think when I first opened, I needed 5 months security because they weren't secure. They didn't feel good renting to me because I didn't exist as a business. So if I did 5 months security and first month's rent, that's $60,000 if we're using a $10,000 baseline. If I put aside $120,000, I now have $60,000 and no gym, just a space. And that, my friends, was not enough to open a business, because you need to have money set aside to operate the business and run the business and continue to pay rent, operational expenses, certainly being rent, the biggest, if not the second biggest, behind your staffing needs. It can be a lot of money. Now, different rent, different places. New York City is a different beast. I understand that. But adjust that for you and where you are. Now, what I did is I went to the bank and I said, I don't feel comfortable. I have enough money to do this. I wanted to borrow money from the bank. I even brought them my business plan. And first of all, they said, I don't need your business plan. We are a bank. And I was like, what? Can you just look at it? Can you just skim through it and say, good job? I spent a lot of time on this. But a business plan is to go to investors. The bank is just going to look at your history and decide whether or not you are a safe person to lend money to. And to them, I was not, because I had quit my job to open this. Now I was unemployed. And they were like, well, you aren't currently employed, so we don't feel safe giving you money. And I was like, what? Even with this amount of money I have in the bank? And they went, yes, even with money you have in the bank, we're not going to give you a loan. But we can reach out on your behalf to the Small Business Administration, to the SBA, and bless them. So I went to Chase. Chase turned me down, but Chase connected me and did the work through the SBA. And so it was through Chase, through the SBA, that I was able to get a loan for another $120,000. I had nearly $250,000 to open a gym in New York City. So now let's take that $60,000, put it aside. I wanted to have $40,000 for operational liquidity. So that's $100,000. Now I've got $140,000 to build out a gym. And it was bare bones. It was bare bones. I had $20,000 for the HVAC unit. It cost $20,000 to put the rubber flooring down. To buy the rubber flooring, it cost another chunk of money to have somebody come in and put it down and do a good job laying it out. Then we put up mirrors and we had fans. The lighting was terrible, so it was a year or two later. We got new lighting put in. All of it's so very expensive, and I didn't even order any gym equipment yet. I didn't order gym equipment yet. And then I'll tell you something about gym equipment that you really need to know. One of the things you need to know about ordering gym equipment is that whatever the price that you pay for weights, double it for freight. So if it costs $10,000 to buy stuff, then it's going to be almost $10,000 to have it shipped to you. Now, not quite, but it is getting pretty close. So you buy $150,000 worth of equipment, it's going to cost $20,000, maybe more, to just get that delivered to you. And it depends on whose freight, how long you can give, what's your lead time. Lead times are also very important. I remember the last gym that I opened, we had a very big problem getting the flooring that we wanted. So by the time the flooring got there, all the equipment had been delivered. So in order for the people to put down the floor, everything had to be moved to one side of the gym. They roll out. We did the floor rolls, roll out the floor. It has to be rolled out for a day or two before they can even do the gluing and put it down. The glue is ridiculously expensive for it. And they put the floor down. And then once the floor got down, it's going to stay for a day or two. And then they move all the stuff from one side of the gym onto the floor. And then they did the other side of the floor. And by the time, it's so much construction, so much dust, all the boxes, that the floor looked terrible. And it took 100 mops to get it to look the way that it needed to do. So timing all of this in the appropriate way is one of the biggest issues. These are things that you don't think about, and you need to have, you've got attorneys, you've got insurance, you've got the flooring. Do you need lockers? Lockers are ridiculously expensive too, right? And then let's go into, are you building out bathrooms and locker rooms and showers and that kind of stuff? And fortunately, my first one, I was able to go bare bones and got it all done, and still had, thank goodness, the operational cash that I needed to keep me afloat for 6 months. And that's what I always say. Make sure you have, for me, I like the idea of having operational liquidity for 6 months, because when you open your first month, it's going to be a trickle. It's going to be a slow trickle in. Now, you'll be running your business out of it, and people are going to come in and they're going to say, oh, this is great. I love it. Nobody's here. I got the place to myself. And they're going to joke about it. And you're going to cry a little bit every time somebody tells that funny joke. That's hilarious. And I laugh along with them. And I was like, well, I would suggest that you share with your friends how few people are here, because it can either be filled with your friends or it can be quiet and lonely, and you have the place to yourself for another month or two before I close the doors for good. So bring in the people you like. Otherwise, I'm going to bring in people you don't know, and I'm going to set it up. We're going to be successful, but I could use your help. So bring it. So we've got these operational expenses, and I think it's important to point out some of these. Because honestly, when you look at the value that so many of these things bring, right? I get a designer to help me out. I'm going to tell you, my designer, the last project I did, I just had a little bit of input for her, paid her hourly for her assistance, and so many things went wrong that she could have easily handled. I was like, forget it, I'm paying you. I'm paying you. Like, let me give you the money. You have the money. I'll give you the money. You have the money. Take the money. Take money. Um, it was so much more effective. I probably saved more money, would have saved more money using her than the stuff that I couldn't send back in an appropriate time frame that she would have done like that. It would have been over. So making sure that you've got people on your team who are able to take that over. Remember, you're going to have showers most likely. They're going to be changing rooms. There are locker rooms. They're going to be bathrooms that need sinks, and they need faucets, and they need accessories. And those accessories, you need a toilet paper holder, and you need hooks to hang things on top of, like coats or backpacks that they bring into the bathroom. And you got to have a plunger, and you got to have a brush, and you got to have a trash can, and you got to have soap and a soap dispenser, and something that's going to air dry your hands, or you're going to need a paper towel dispenser and a paper towels. Then you got to have a garbage can and a mirror, right? And the list goes on and on. And but just me saying those things that go in the bathroom, it's already $1 bazillion. Now, I'm not saying this to dissuade you. I'm not. There's going to be a lot of money. And there are some places out there that do bare bones boxes. And there's a reason they do that, because it's expensive to have a gym. So if you just keep it basically empty and put a bathroom in there, that all you do is go to the bathroom, maybe there's a curtain that you can change clothes behind. There are reasons people do that. And you can go less expensive. But the floor, you still have to protect the floor. I'm telling you, if you're gonna have weights, and those weights are gonna hit the floor, you got to protect the floor. You got to protect the landlord's investment, which is, the floor itself. And you got to have gym flooring. I don't care who you are. The gym flooring's got to be there. You got to have AC. I know that there's some of my brothers and sisters that are in the sweet science that are like, you don't have to have AC. I'm going to tell you right now, and you're in the gym business. It's not a boxing studio. You better put some AC in there. Otherwise, you won't have a gym business for very long. It's hard to convince people that the sweating because they're hot is the type of sweating that's good for you. It's no metabolic expenditure. It is simply a lot of work to take on. All right. So with that said, there are multiple things that can be an issue here. But honestly, drinking fountains are part of them. You got to think about it. You got to have handles on the doors. Are you putting the doors up? Are you putting logos up? There's vinyl work that goes into the logos. I have towels. Every towel costs money. I have the logo printed on the towels. That costs money. I got a cousin in Tennessee that does the logo printing for me. He is a good deal, a cousin deal, but it's still expensive. By the way, if you need logos printed on towels, then reach out to me. I'll connect you with my cousin in Tennessee. So with all this said, there are expenses that are associated with it. And when it's said and done and all of that gets there, and because buying the stuff is very exciting, paying for it is not. It's like gym ownership Christmas. You buy it, but you shop for it. It's exciting. Buying it on the credit card. Don't even think about it. It gets in. You unpack it. You put it together. It is exciting. It looks good. And now you got to pay those bills. Oh my. The challenge is real. And I'm not saying this because I don't think you should open a gym. I'm saying all of this because I think you need to understand what goes into opening a gym. Because I'm telling you right now, opening a gym, having a gym is cool. And people want a piece of it. It's very cool to own a gym. And there are reasons why so many gyms go out of business, because the idea of having a gym is way cooler than the work that goes into building a gym. It's work. And building a gym is a lot easier than keeping one open. And not the building the gym part. There's a lot of people that build a gym. It's whether or not you can keep it open. There's work that goes into it. I'm telling you, keep money set aside to operate. If you don't have money, you haven't gone through your operational expenses. What are my monthlies that I know I'm going to pay every month? What's my capital expenditure? How much do my fans cost? How much does it cost to do new lighting if you need to do that? How much does it cost for floor? How much does it cost to put up the walls, bringing in the contractor, doing the work, adding the mirrors? Mirrors? Did you think about that? They cost money. They're expensive. And haven't even got to gym equipment yet. Now you got an empty box with floor, AC, mirrors, doors, door handles, space, locker rooms. You got to put lockers in that locker room. You got to put benches in the locker room. You got to put soap dispensers. You got to put, squat racks in the gym. You got to buy plates and barbells and hex bars and landmines and cables and pulleys and bands and pads and cushions and mats and loops and ropes and sleds, bikes, rowers, ski ergs, treadmills. Money, 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 money. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing, because it does cost a lot. And I'm telling you, it can be very, very enjoyable to do this. It can be very enjoyable to have a gym, but you won't have it for very long if you don't prepare for it. Folks, this episode of the NASM CPT Podcast is brought to you by NASM One, the membership for trainers and coaches. Members enjoy unlimited access to hundreds of career resources. Get the Edge app to schedule and program clients. Enjoy half off all certifications and specializations, access to free CEUs, and more. All of this for just $35 a month. Go to nasm.org/membership to learn more about NASM One. Y'all, I love being a business owner. I love being a gym owner, but I dissuade people from being a gym owner. Why? I dissuade them with this information. It's not saying don't do it, it's a terrible idea. It is this costs this, this costs this, this costs this. Then you have to have it shipped there. This costs this, this costs this. I'm telling you, it's expensive. There's a lot of money that goes into it. So do you have the money? And if not, do you have means of getting the money? And this is one of the reasons why Mark Mastrov said maybe your first entry point isn't opening your own gym. Maybe it's getting a franchise. And franchise, they already have the financials available. Say this is the history of what we've done, each location. You can see the financials. And then the bank is more likely to give you a loan because they're not giving just you a loan. They're giving the name behind you and that business a loan. And so that might be a better entry point for a lot of people. It's just not an entry point that I can speak to. I did the opposite of what he said. I did open my own, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I did a lot of good things that were accidental good things, and then eventually brought on a business partner who, the business existed, the brand existed, it's up and running, and it's a lot safer to invest in that. I can show you the numbers. This is what it is. Then he goes, oh, let me pay you money. I'll have a lot up front. And then he's got equity in the business. And then I just like working with him. He's a good man. He's a good person. My business partner, Mark Miller. And so every time I want to open a new gym, I'm like, hey, Mark, you want to do it? Hey, Mark. And I just invite him back to be a part of it every time. If you're around good people, you got good investors, people that work hard, people who believe in you, who believe in the brand, who believe in what you are producing. Those are the people you want to do business with. And I've had business partners that I will never do business with again. So find the one that works for you and the business that is good for you, that is good for the business, that is more giving than taking, that is more supportive than needs support. And that's the type of person that you need to do business with. All right, y'all. Did I scare you? Good? Because I'll say this, for all the people that I scare off, there are people who are going, I heard you. I hear what you're saying, and I still need to do it. I mean, you're probably the one that needs to do it. You're probably the one that, in light of all of this and the expenses, now you got to operate it. Now that's all just getting it ready. Now comes the real work of doing the work of operating the business. And if you're here for it, that's something like, in light of all of this, you go, yeah, I still got to do it. Then you probably should do it. I'm happy to help out. If y'all got questions for me, I'll charge you for my time. But if you want to reach out, I'm happy to help you and support you in your process. You can reach out to me. And if you got questions and you want to hear something, a topic on the podcast, then hit me up. You can do so on Instagram at dr.rickrichey or email me, rick.richey@nasm.org. Y'all keep inspiring people to fitness. Thanks for listening. This has been the NASM CPT Podcast.